has two segments, the issue of the day, as well as from the pages. This is time for us to get into the issue of the day. And I'm joined this morning by Miriam, who must have had some sort of experience all through being here this morning. So Miriam, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much this morning. It's really a great Thursday morning, and it's so good to be alive. It's so good to be back on Panorama this wonderful week. I know you're used to hearing Miriam Oguremi on Fridays, but this morning I just decided to, step into the shoe of Odera Otaro, who is unavoidably absent this morning. But it's going to be a great show, just like Benga Fire mentioned, that the program is divided into two great segments. And also don't forget that you are a part of the conversation always. So when the time comes, we'll drop the studio line so that you can also contribute on the issue of the day. And also in the second segment, you can pick a particular headline of your choice and tell us what you think about the headline as well.
All right, then, to introduce what the issue of the day for today is going to border on, it's on extant laws on declaration of assets by public office holders. And this is in regard to the Pandora Papers revelations. We have joining us to have that conversation, Barrister DOTUN Sotonade. Sotonade. Okay, pardon me. Yeah, I mean, it's good that you know the name is here to correct that. That's fine. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's get something straight to start with. According to the findings by the Global International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, ICIJ-led Pandora Papers project, in which Premium Times is a key participant, and as reported by the newspaper Medium, they fingered several individuals who have offshore companies and operate foreign accounts. As a matter of fact, the governor of Ogun State, Prince Abeokuta, was fingered in this. And let's get this straight. Is it wrong to own offshore companies or operate foreign accounts? What does the law say exactly?
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Once you're a citizen of Nigeria, you can own accounts anywhere, ordinarily.
Okay.
But the moment you get exalted to the position of a public office holder, a political appointee, someone from the judiciary, judges, on and on like that, you are barred by the constitution, by the law, from owning offshore accounts. That's just it. It's just once you know that, okay, even though I've been operating an offshore account for 5, 10, 15 years because I am a businessman, the moment you decide to run for public office, you must close those accounts.
Okay, talking about closing those accounts now, according to the claim raised by the Ogun State's governor, Prince Abeokuta, he said that he asked them to shut down the operation, but he did not know that it was not done, that the company, the offshore stuff are still very much on. In this kind of situation, is this claim by the governor, is it substantial?
Well, he has already said that he had already given them the instruction to close their accounts. Now, the truth or otherwise of that particular claim is not for me to decide as a person. Nobody knows the heart of man. What you can know is that this is what he has said. Now, if the matter is now taken up by the appropriate authorities, they'll be able to know whether or not he had indeed given the instruction. Of course, there will be maybe documentary proof to show that, okay, I have given instruction. These are my instructions. This is what I have said you should do. This was there I issued the instruction. And then based on that one, you can now say, okay, yes, he had given instruction. It was not followed or it was followed.
Does this some way portray lack of due diligence by public officials sometimes? I mean, let's take a look at the case of the governor. I mean, Miriam mentioned the fact that he had given orders for the offshore accounts to be closed because he was now a public official. As a matter of fact, the governor of Ogun State. But I thought this should have been followed through to the T, to the I, to find out if all of those orders were followed.
Well, obviously, there is always a process for maintenance. Even our local banks here,
right?
When you want to do anything, all you can do is just send an instruction to your bank. Bank, let me do this. Maybe for things like maybe reversal of payments or maybe issuance of checks and everything. And then they might now just say, oh, sir, it will take you 5 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 days for you to get this thing done. Are you with me?
Right.
So at the end of the day, when you expect it to be done and it is not done, then you can now follow them or follow it up and say, come on, I asked you to do this. You did not do it. Are you with me? Now, well, Ogun State is not a small state. It is very possible that our governor became very, busy with running the state, that he did not have time to look over things. I guess, and since he had already given the instruction, I want to believe that he believed that it ought to have been carried out. But like I said, no one knows the heart of man.
Okay, now let's talk about public officers or political leaders having companies. I know in the United States of America, once you become a president or a governor and you have a company that you run, once you become a public office holder, you have to let go. They call it conflict of interest. You have to let go so that other people will manage it in order for you to face what you were elected for. In Nigeria, do we have something like that? Because if you take a look at all these offshore companies, all these companies owned by these people, like Peter will be coming out to say, okay, that company is owned by my family, which we are going to talk about as well on the program. Also, Dr. Abeokuta has got two companies, according to the Pandora Papers, the Hayden oil company and the other one, Marlowe's or something, the other company.
Yes.
And according to the Pandora Papers, these companies are still very much operating. Is there anything like that, the conflict of interest that we always hear of in the United States? Do we have it in Nigeria?
Yes, we actually have it. I was trying to go through my phone and to get a copy of the Constitution and just give you the exact citation. But I know that the 5th schedule of the Nigerian Constitution actually provides for things like that. And then we have several sections that list different public office holders as not being able, they are bad, they are prevented from having offshore companies. I get now. We have section 66, 107, 150, 195, 209, 211, on and on like that. I actually wrote down a number of sections, and I think I had about almost 15 to 20 sections of the 1999 Constitution that actually listen. But one section just say president cannot have this.
Yes.
Another one will now say vice president cannot. And I guess now. So we have them all listed: the president, the vice president, senate president, member, all lawmakers, executive, legislators, judiciary, lecturers in university, on and on like that. All of them are bad. Because they are public office holders. It is in our constitution. It's explicit there.
You mentioned lecturers now. Okay, also the Pandora Papers mentioned the former president of the Delta State Customary Court of Appeal, Justice Stella Ogene, in her application for a particular of course, the Corporate Affairs Commission. She registered a particular company called Yellow Music Limited. And while applying for that, she told them that she is a professor of art history. And she's also deputy vice chancellor of University of Benin. And you also mentioned lecturers, part of the, people written in the law that they should not hold any other, companies. And in offshore companies, okay. Yes. In this particular situation, she is a public office. She was then a public office holder. Then she's got this Yellow Music Limited. Not just that, she lied on record when she wanted to apply for the registration of this company. Can we now say that the Corporate Affairs Commission is not diligent in its investigation, or do they even do any kind of check after registration or while registering?
Okay, first of all, I would not want us to just say Corporate Affairs Commission is not diligent in doing something. I get now. The first thing is the fact that when she applied as a lecturer to be registered. Corporate Affairs Commission does not deal with offshore companies.
Okay, yes.
I get now. Right. So it was as far as the law was concerned, she applied as a lecturer for a particular sum. That is if the narrative is right in any case, because I haven't verified it. Right. Now, let's assume narrative is right. Now, she applied as a lecturer to set up a company in Nigeria following Corporate Affairs Commission, as in with the Corporate Affairs Commission. So essentially, it simply means that she is qualified in that wise. Are you with me? Now, the funny thing about many of these things is the fact that, many of us, we have different facets of our lives. as you are here now, you are a presenter here in this studio now. Outside, you might be a mother. I get now, you'll be the wife of somebody else. I get now. In another place again, might actually be a director in a small startup company or a business owner, a sole proprietor in a business. Now, if you decide that, okay, they ask, what's your occupation? And you said, I am a businesswoman. Are you with me? It's just an aspect of who you are. It does not comprise of all of you. Are you with me? So, I do not know, I have no relationship with her. I get now, whether she was a vice chancellor, whether she was a lecturer, now that is up to her CV to decide. I guess now. But what I know is that the fact that you actually are, say, a judge, for example,
Right.
Yes.
it does not preclude you from giving public lectures. We've had several times that judges will go to educate the public on the stands of the law. We've had several times that they would be sitting on boards, on tribunals. Are you with me? So it does not 100% preclude you that, okay, you cannot do this, simply sit down. So if a judge now comes in and says, okay, I am a pastor, and he decides that when he wants to, in his church is a pastor, and he wants to write it in his CV, and he just says, okay, I am a pastor that wants to register. It is in that particular position as a pastor, and he can register a church, for example, as a pastor. I guess. So what I'm saying is that I do not know her, number one, and she may or she may not be a lecturer, number two, but we cannot say the CAC is not diligent. The problem actually goes to the foundation that Nigeria lacks a database. We lack a database. Now, one would have thought that with the advent of the NIN, that things like this would be checked seriously. At least with NIN, if you put it practically on everything, once those with clearance impute your NIN, which I want to believe CAC ought to have the clearance. I guess now they should be able to see, okay, this is actually those things that are linked with this person. I guess so, but we don't have an accurate database in Nigeria, and that is one of the major crux of all our problems, all our issues, our lack of proper development, practically everything. And so once the foundation is spoiled, it is destroyed. There is no foundation at all. What can CAC do? They can only work on what they have. And it's very possible that they must have written to the said university, and those ones will have confirmed that, yes, this is our person. Are you with me? So
I'd love for us to look at a certain section of the Constitution, Section 2 of the 5th Schedule of the Nigerian Constitution. Within 3 months after coming into force of the Code of Conduct, or immediately after taking office, and thereafter submits to the Code of Conduct Bureau a written declaration of all his properties, assets, and liabilities, and those of his unmarried children under the age of 18 years. Now, a lot of caveats to this, but do you find this provision inadequate? I mean, 3 months after the coming into force of the Code of Conduct, or immediately after taking office and thereafter, is it inadequate in your own perspective?
The provision is inadequate, simplicity. Honestly, number one, it is shall. I get that it's not must. That's number one. Number two, what's the penalty? Are you with me? What is the penalty? It just says, okay, I should do this thing, at least it is advisable for me to do. My interpretation of that thing is that morally, I get now, politically, ethically, I get now, it is okay for you to do, but legally it's not binding. Because for something to have the force of law, there must be a penalty for disobedience. Are you with me? Right. Now, there is nowhere, no written law in Nigeria that actually will tell you that if you're a public office holder and within the time stipulated for you, you should declare your assets, failure of which you would forfeit your position, you would lose half of your undeclared assets. Nah, there's nothing like that. What you only have as crime in Nigeria is when you declare false assets.
Okay.
I get now. Right. But when you refuse to declare at all, I get now. Now that is not a crime.
Okay.
I guess now because there is no enforcement. There is no penalty if you do not follow. So all you need to do is that anyone that can just say, okay, I'm not declaring my assets, and the person keeps quiet.
I'm looking at that also 3 months caveat that is also provided for in that particular provision.
Okay.
Is it adequate as well? I mean, 3 months after coming into office.
Well-
what happens to before coming into office?
Well, ordinarily, I guess now, if you want to say, okay, properly, I want to actually declare my assets. I think asset declaration should be done like on a periodic basis.
Okay.
I get now. By the time they're actually screening you to make sure that you are eligible to contest for this particular position, or by the time you've been presented to the Senate or to the House that, okay, we want to put this person in as a minister or as a commissioner in the state-wise. Now, in the screening process, your asset declaration ought to be there.
Okay.
I guess now.
Right.
Screening process. So that if there is any lacuna in the source of your income, you would have been able to address it. Are you with me? That's number one. Now, after you come into power, I guess now, 3 months, yes, maybe, but once you've done it before coming to power, let them give you 6 months.
Okay.
After which you now have a periodic 6-month update. Are you with me? Then after you leave the office, mandatorily, I guess now, you must do another one. Then 6 months after leaving the office, you do another one. Before you can say, I am free, now that I'm no longer a public officer.
Okay.
But unfortunately, that's not the case in Nigeria. Right. Yes.
Barrister Sotonade, I want to ask you a question, and that is according to what former governor Peter Obi mentioned. And he talked about the fact that when they asked him to declare his asset, he declared what he knows belongs to him.
Okay.
And not the things that is jointly owned by himself and his family.
Okay.
But people are now asking this question that, okay, if he cannot declare asset of something that belongs to him and members of his family, why not declare his own stake of that, in that particular joint company? What's your take on this?
How do you calculate the exact stake of someone in an investment? I guess now in Nigeria, ordinarily, if it was to be a limited liability company now, your shares, like, okay, I have 1,000 shares out of 1 million shares. Okay, that would say, okay, this is my stake here. Are you with me? But most of these so-called family companies, many of them do not have a stipulated process of registration. I guess now it's just the patriarch that will just sit down somewhere and then he'll be making the orders. I guess now, in fact, in most cases, they will just let maybe 3 or 4 members of the family, okay, go ahead, go and be running this thing. But when it's time for profit sharing, they will sit down and then that's okay. Give all the members of the family. Because if you want to list all the members of an extended family, for example, in a particular company, this thing, the list to be so much. I guess now. Right. So, but ordinarily, asset declaration in the true sense of the word, he ought to have declared his shares in the company. He ordinarily ought to have done it. But like I said, everything boils down back to lack of proper database.
Maybe to also marry to what Miriam has said, that part of the Constitution also references that those of the unmarried children of the public official must also be declared.
Below 18 years.
Below 18 years,
Below
yes.
18 years.
Below 18 years.
Yes, because they are minors. And it is assumed that you as the parent would be the one who is helping them to administer that particular asset.
Okay.
But the moment they become of age, legal
18 years
adults,
and above.
I get now,
Right.
then you understand?
I get.
Though as an aside, the issue I have with that particular unmarried age of 18 years is that does the constitution now condone marriage of less than 18 years? Okay, that's a discussion for another day.
Okay, let's look at the Code of Conduct Bureau now.
Okay.
Because I'm sure the question in some people's minds is, with all of these revelations, the agencies that should do their jobs, are they complicit? Are they not doing their job? Well, I want us to look at the Code of Conduct Bureau specifically.
Okay.
How is it that these things was easy to be under the radar until the Pandora Papers made these revelations? The security agents, would you say they're even doing a thorough job at all?
Now, before you can say whether they are doing a thorough job or not, you need to understand, how do these organizations work? Are you with me? How do they work? Now, on the average, at any given time, with the kind of government that we run in Nigeria, can you just give me offhand the number of people that you think are public office holders? Offhand. We already have 774
local government
members of the House of
360.
Assembly. We have 360 senators.
Right.
We have the executive arm. I get now. We have number of
So
judges.
about 2,000 plus. They're about.
What?
They're about.
Nah, we are talking of more about 50,000. More than that. Because in a single state, for example, take Ogun State, for example, we have 20 members of the House
26.
26 members
Of the House of
Again,
Assembly.
in the House of Assembly.
Right.
Again, we have our governor, deputy governor. We have all the commissioners. Are you with me?
About 20 of them.
Now, and their aides, because they are all now public officers.
So this also covers the
yes,
aides.
it covers the aides.
Right.
Again, because all of them are now appointed as public. Now, local government level, we have 20 local governments in Ogun State.
That's right.
Chairman and deputy and vice chairman. I guess now that's another 40. So by the time you look at it, Ogun State alone will be having something close to say 70, 100.
Right. There are 236 wards if you factor in the.
Then by the time you now begin
councillors.
to look at the councillors and everything, now we now jump again to like 500 for Ogun State alone. Now, how then do these organizations work? Back to my initial question. The thing is that they work by petition. If there is no one that is writing that we suspect that this person has done this, there is no need to raise an investigation. I would say, but the question will now be, after a petition had been written concerning the particular person, what is being done? Are you with me?
Right.
For example, as this place is now, we have 3 mics here. One belongs to you, one belongs to you, one belongs to you. I get now. It is very possible that we may have a deal between the two of us, and you might have sold to me your rights over this mic. I get now. Now, if you do not tell anyone, no one would know that you no longer have the right to assets now. The only way that anybody can know that I have purchased this is one, either I declare it,
Okay.
or if I do not declare it, someone that is privy to that transaction would now write to CCB, that's Code of Conduct Bureau,
Right.
that this man has purchased this man and he has refused to declare it. Then I'll now be invited to come and defend it. Do you understand? So that is how they work. They can't just come around and say, okay, you must have gotten a new asset. That's why I said there must be periodic, continuous. Now, these assets that are declared in the form, I get that they can now look through them. Okay, is there a discrepancy between what was submitted at the last time and this time? But once there is no regular mandatory need to submit and make declaration of assets, then, like I said again, it all boils down to that.
Okay.
Okay, well, still talking about petitions and also calls coming from every angle or every corner concerning the Pandora Papers now. A civil society organization, the Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership, asked the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, to probe all Nigerians mentioned in the revealed Pandora Papers. You are a barrister. Can ICPC or EFCC or any agency, can they go on to, probe these people or take any action against them based on this particular publication?
Now, if there is no petition that is written and addressed to these organizations, all of these things that we have on social media, they are just speculations at best. I guess now, if anybody is sure that, okay, I am backing up what we have discovered with facts, let them raise a petition and send to the appropriate quarters. But until then, all we can be doing is just analysis in the public domain. I guess now, but once the petition has been written and it is sent to the appropriate quarters, for example, when it comes to asset declaration, you don't send it to EFCC. You don't send it to ICPC. You send it to Code of Conduct Bureau. Are you with me? So by the time you now decide to now write, okay, a petition, you now send it to police instead. You've missed it. So a petition must be raised and sent to the appropriate quarters, then the appropriate quarters will work on it. Until that is done, well, we'll continue to speculate and educate ourselves.
There's also the point whereby people feel there should be some sort of autonomy for these bodies. I mean, the Code of Conduct Bureau should have the level of independence it requires to work, to be able to go after public officials that they feel, or like you also referenced, that petitions have been raised against. Now, I mean, I thought about all of the numbers that we tried to speculate about some moment ago. I mean, close to 50,000. Does it make the job of the CCB as a body very Herculean?
Now, the issue is this. When it comes to the issue of law, you need to understand, okay, why do we have law? I guess now, the law is to direct us, is to lead us. And then when we have punishment, one of the issues of punishment is to make an example. Now, if out of 50,000, we have, say, 5,000 bad eggs, all you need is just 5 scapegoats. And then the remaining 4,995, they will change. I guess not. But until we can get that, then it is not that. Do you understand?
Right.
Now, if you look at the establishing law of Code of Conduct Bureau, in the Code of Conduct Bureau Establishment Act, now it says that it is an act to provide for the establishment of the Code of Conduct Bureau and tribunal to deal with complaints of corruption by public servants for the breaches of its provisions. And their major duty is to establish and maintain a high standard of morality in the conduct of government business, and to ensure that the actions and behaviors of public officers conform to the highest standards of public morality and accountability. Now, we need to understand that Code of Conduct Bureau is an executive mandate. It's an executive body.
Right.
But the Code of Conduct Tribunal ought to be a judicial body. But what we have in Nigeria today is that the tribunal is treated as the, let me call it the, in quotes now, the prosecuting arm,
Okay.
I guess now, of CCB. But it should be different. As far as I'm concerned, the tribunal should actually have the same jurisdiction as the Federal High Court, with qualified judges sitting. Are you with me?
Right.
Now, but from the appointment of the chairman of the tribunal,
right,
on and on like that, everything had to be made the tribunal to be subject to the executive. So they don't have the independence that they ought to have, which is part of what is presenting it as if these things are witch hunting. And that if you are not in this particular thing, then you will be witch hunted. But if the independence is guaranteed, again, if it is set aside. Now, so one of the things that needs to be done is that the Code of Conduct Tribunal ought to be listed explicitly in the Constitution as one of the higher courts of record. It is not so now. Even though the Code of it is referred as one of the courts, but it needs to be listed explicitly. After all, industrial court is listed. Are you with me? Right. So what we have in Nigeria currently now is that Code of Conduct Bureau will do what it needs to do. Then they just refer it to the tribunal, which is being treated as a department
Of the CCB itself.
I get now. But it should not be so. The Code of Conduct Tribunal ought to have a jurisdiction by itself, at par with the Federal High Court, with appeals from it going straight to Court of Appeal. Because it really is, what it does actually is not something that we can just take with levity. I guess. But until that is done, well, we'll be having what we have currently in Nigeria.
So if we are to take a look at the executive, the judiciary, and the lawmakers now, I know for years everybody have been talking about the fact that there is no form of independence. One way or the other, instead of this to act as an oversight function to check, for check and balances now, to check the other person, but you now find it as if they are just, collaborating. What, you are a barrister, you are in the judiciary arm of government.
No, I'm not in the judiciary arm of government. Judges and the judiciary arm of government. I
But
have my small office somewhere.
So what do you think is the way forward to, separate all these things? Do you think the judges we have in Nigeria are not really fighting enough to make sure that, okay, like the tribunal that you mentioned, the CCT, to make sure that it is independent on its own and not an arm of, the executive?
The funny thing is that, let me give you a small education. Judges, unfortunately, cannot fight. They cannot. The fight ought to come from us.
Okay.
I get now. This year, in Ogun State at least, has been plagued with incessant judiciary strike. I get now. Most of what the judiciary staff are fighting for, again, it really has nothing to do with their personal thing. For example, the independence of judiciary was fought for about 10 weeks. I guess now.
Right.
Then Ogun State now, we have the government intervention, whatever, and all those things. Another 6 weeks. I guess now. Now, judges by themselves cannot fight. Instead, we should do the fighting. If there is going to be any change or proper independence, it must start with the people generally. Letting the legislators know that this is what we want. The legislators will make the law. But before you can now go deep, you can delve very deep into why is our judiciary, into the independence of the judiciary, you need to first of all examine why are they not independent. And it boils down to the issue of funding. There is strictly no direct this thing that secures the funding of the judiciary. In Nigeria, with apologies, most of what we have is our governors deciding what goes to all of the other arms. That's why as long as a governor is able to ensure the payments to legislative, as long as he's able to ensure that the judiciary is also getting something, he controls it. Simply, it's in court. But that's the reality of it. He would pays the piper, he takes the tune. Now look at it. Why is it that when they started the federal strike, we started having different governors? After the four of us went to have a governors forum resolution, it now came up again and they said, okay, each governor will now look at their own and then I will now start, okay, I have agreed in my state. Should it be like that? Should it be at the whims of the governor? There must be a strict constitutional provision that actually is enforceable. Now, even though the governor, the executive will continue to make the money, I guess now.
Right.
Now, there should be some exceptions to prosecution of executive, because they have judicial, they have immunity against prosecution. For example, if they do not enforce the tenets of democracy, we should be able to remove them without going through stress. Now, if some of these things are put in place, then I'm sure judiciary will become more autonomous than what it is. Nowadays, we have governors who become emperors in their individual states. They are the high and the mighty. They make the law, the A and the Z. And then the legislators will go. Sometimes they will prostrate the sitting governor while they are still in office. I guess now, even you see a senator at the top coming down to the governor and still kneeling down to greet the governor, because he realizes that this is the man that is the source of my bread. And then the governor will also go to visit the judiciary, the courts and everything. And they will tell you, oh, we'll make this chair, we'll make this table, we'll give you this. And at the end of the day, they will not do anything. And the judiciary will start, okay, very soon they will do it. Very soon they will do it. Our judiciary is filled without any sense of bias. Our judiciary, at least I'm very exposed to the judiciary, it is filled with very brilliant people. Are you with me? It's filled very... Recently, we were in some forums and everything. And we were trying to present some ideas to help with the judiciary. And we realized that all of these ideas had already been considered. But issue of implementation of these novel ideas, as it were, I guess now, is what is limiting the implementation. And it boils down to funding, adequate funding for our judiciary. If we want to make things right, You should just say, okay, everything that comes in, okay, fine. Let's put it down into maybe 10, and then this percentage will go straight to judiciary. Once they know what is coming in, they'll be able to budget accordingly. It's not that, okay, at every month after we decide that this is what comes in federal allocation, how much can we release to the judiciary? I guess now, and then we'll now start telling the judiciary, come and defend what you want us to give you. That's not how things are.
All right, you're listening to Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM, the Integrity Station. We're looking at extant laws on declaration of assets by public office holders, and we're looking at it from the angle of the Pandora Papers revelations. We have in the studio with us this morning Barrister DOTUN SOTONADE, as we're looking at this issue. I want to ask you two questions, then I think we'll just get to the phone line so people who are listening to us can also be a part of the show. The part of autonomy to different arms of government, as the case is. I mean, let's look at it from the angle of legislators now, the lawmakers. They have oversight function, and they also have that function of having to scrutinize budgets of governors and presidents when they come to prepare them and present them, basically. Is that not power enough for them to use to help in their fight for autonomy? That's one. And the second question is, there was also a news that surfaced yesterday about 18 states not in support of autonomy for the judiciary. 18 states out of 36 in Nigeria. I mean, that's about half, if I'm not mistaken. Do you see that changing, and do you see that as a major setback for the autonomy of the judiciary that people have been talking about?
Now, if you look at the legislature, let us start from the lowest point, councillors.
Okay.
Once somebody becomes a councillor in Nigeria today, all they have is just the title honorable. After they hold the title of honorable, even now, most of the time, by the time we say we want to do we want to do budget planning for the next, okay, this is how much you go to these people, what have you. Now, after all of them have defended their list and everything, now we see that the legislators will still sit down and say, okay, how much is going to legislative arm of the government? Now, in the olden days, I don't know whether it still works now, but in the olden days, for you to get any bill, including budgets passed, in the olden days, I'm talking about 10, 15 years ago now. Right. Now, each of the legislators will still be given a take-home package for them to support that particular bill. I get it now. Right. Now, but presently now, until the law itself is looked into, which is the foundation and the basis to put everyone there, we will not have true independence of either legislature or judiciary. So when it comes to the issue of 18 states saying that we cannot give judiciary independence, is it up to them? All of us were taught in government, in our secondary schools, that there are three arms of government: the executive, the legislature, the judiciary. And these three arms, there is a principle called separation of powers. That is the theoretical aspect that was taught us, the basics. But the reality of it is that our executives are too powerful. And until something is done, we'll continue to sing the same tune. I will continue to talk on radio.
All right, let's get to you listening to us wherever you are in the world, really. Get to call us now, 0817-444-1067, 0704-400-1067, and 0817-555-1067. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name?
Afolabi is my name.
Afolabi, please go on.
Abeokuta.
Go on, please.
Yeah, thank you, the barrister in the house. Yes, if by what we were taught in secondary school, in government, the judiciary is also an arm of government. I think it should be independent, just like the executive. But now, we are not seeing the same. I want to ask like 3 or 4 questions. They might be interwoven. What is the position of the law on judicial independence? Is there any provision at all for judicial independence in our constitution? Then again, if there is, at what point did we get it wrong that the executive became the overlord over every other arm of the government. Then another question is this: can an individual or a group go to court and challenge the power of the executive that is used over the judiciary? Can we challenge them as an individual or a group? Then what is the role of the NBA in this cause? Those are my questions.
All right, Falabi, thank you very much for asking those salient questions, I must say. We'll take more calls, 0817-444-1067, 0704-400-1067, and 0817-555-1067. We're also streaming live on Facebook, and so you can also get to drop us comment on the live video feed that you find there. Just keep it as brief as much as possible. We also have WhatsApp, 0817-555-1067. Maybe you'd attempt the questions that Falabi has asked so far before I wait all the calls.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Before you do, please, let's just attempt this one and then we'll take all of them together. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
You might have to call us again. Just go on, Barrister.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Falabi. The position of the law, what Nigerian Constitution stipulates is that at different sections in the Constitution, there is a creation of the courts. There shall be a Supreme Court, there shall be a Court of Appeal, there shall be High Courts. Right. Each state shall be entitled to his own courts, and it states what they can do, adjudicate over matters. In fact, the matters that each of them can adjudicate over, they are stated in our Constitution. Now, what exactly is not listed in the Constitution is, okay, how are they going to be funded? It's not in the Constitution, but we have a Judiciary Service Commission that ought to be in charge of this thing. But apart from all of these things, where we got it wrong is when we started playing money politics in Nigeria. That is where we got everything wrong. When we decided that money would rule everything we do in Nigeria, and we started putting our values aside. So it was at that particular moment that someone that was able to come into power will now begin to now run things as they want. And if you decide to raise any objection or whatever, you realize that, God forgive us lawyers, some of us will now be the ones to also go and support these things and delay it in court until after the expiration of the term of the said governor. So that also brings me to the issue of, can an individual challenge the powers of the executive? If you are ready to go all the way, please go ahead and challenge it, and know that what you are doing is for posterity. It's not for an immediate gain. Because if you want to challenge a sitting governor, for example, by the time you even matter the state high court, by the time you go to an appeal to court of appeal, by the time you go to Supreme Court, the person has already left his seat. That's why I said you must be ready to go all the way and do it for posterity, so that the pronouncement of the court would actually go a long way. And like I said earlier on, it is individuals that will make the fight for judicial independence and judicial autonomy. Now, what is the role of NBA? NBA is not a pressure group.
Okay.
I get now, like the NLC. NBA is not a pressure group. NBA is not registered as a union. It is an association. There are two different things entirely.
What's the difference?
Unions are creations of law.
Okay.
Like, for example, we have the Labor Act. I guess now, there is no NBA Act. Do you understand?
Right.
So it is because the Labor Act actually gives our labor unions the permission, the authority to say, okay, we are going to enact a strike today and everything, and then all laborers, employees, and everything. That's why I say, if you don't do this, we'll do this for you. But when it comes to the NBA is an association of lawyers whose primary mandate is to look at the welfare of lawyers. And not even the welfare of judges, but lawyers. So when it now comes to the issue of, okay, what is NBA doing? What's the role of NBA? The best thing we can do is what we are doing now. Educate the people. Let them understand these are your rights. This is what ought to exist. This is what should be, but this is what we are seeing. We are letting you know that, okay, the law is missing in this area. It needs to be done in this area. It's not left to you people to call legislators. Legislature, oh yeah, go and change this one. Go and present this. Change this law, add this law. Are you with me?
Right.
So that is what we are doing. The best thing NBA can do at any given point is just to issue an opinion. NBA publication, we support this, we align ourselves with this, and we urge Nigerians to do this, and this.
Right.
For example, during the strike period now, NBA came out, we support the judiciary staff on their strike, and we enjoin our members to please hold on. That's what NBA can do.
Okay.
I guess now. So, but when it comes to the issue of, do you know that if lawyers should decide that, okay, let us lift our placard and everything, they are liable to be disbarred. Because that is conduct unbecoming of a lawyer.
Okay.
You understand?
Interesting. Great.
Yes.
So which means the judicial arm of government can't even make any move to have a union.
The judicial arm, no, we only have we have judiciary staff. Okay,
But
but
they don't
judges,
have a union.
judges have their own association, but they cannot have a union. Judges cannot close down the court, just like police too cannot go on strike.
All right. Interesting revelations, really. We can still take more calls. We're also live on Facebook, by the way. You can keep your thoughts coming through on Facebook. The numbers to call are 817-444-1067, 0704-400-1067, and 0817-555-1067. Have another caller. Hello,
Hello,
good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Yes, Nicholas from Abeokuta.
Nicholas, come on, please.
Yeah, Barrister, good morning. You are part of the judiciary, whether you like it or not, but you are on the bar and not on the bench. And the NBA should be at the forefront of the many Nigerians of their rights. On the issue of whether a judge can be corrupt, Justice Sotomayor, the first Hispanic female judge in America, female justice, said, when the government employee is poor and he or she works in a corrupt agency, he can resist everything except temptation. Now, on the independence of the judiciary, before Nigeria was formed and the British came to stay here, the Yorubas in the Oyo Empire knew that it was necessary for the judiciary to be independent. And that was why the Oyo Empire had its checks and balances in its own way, even stronger than the British system. You see, in any state, no matter how, even a pariah state, you are likely to find more reasonable men in the judiciary. So it is indeed better and the foundation of any democratic process that the governor should not be buying gifts for judges. They should not belong to the same club, even football clubs. So that the justice on his bench can be free like Okuta, like a shop, and deliver judgment that will favor the weak, who are mostly suppressed by the executives. When the executives get here, outside the mandate of the people. So that is why the judicial independence is vital in any democracy. And on the Pandora and Panama, Benjamin Miriam, even in US, George Bush's grandfather was a businessman who was using POWs to lay the foundation for his oil and gas industry. But the Bush family was in need.
For some reason we seem to have lost Nicholas. Please do call us again if you can. We apologize for that loss of connection.
Okay, let's move real quick to our Facebook. Don't forget, you can drop your comment at the comment section of the live feed on Facebook. Akorede Camille Adebayo is saying, in all honesty, they quite know they own those companies, however, register them abroad in the names of their relatives just because they want to evade taxes. That's what has made them to be offshore companies. Isn't it a crime to register a personal company under family members? It's a question.
No, it's not a crime to register a company under family members. It's not. Anybody can own any company as long as you have the legal capacity to do so. Now, what we have now, essentially, is a bunch of speculations. Like I said, we can only just educate ourselves I get now. All we are doing now is not as if a fact has proved. For example, if a letter had been written to CCB,
Okay.
I guess now, and then all of these things are listed, and CCB now comes up with a publication, or there is a trial, and then the report comes out. Okay, yes, there was a judgment on this thing, or there's a declaration, or this matter was tried. Okay, but until such a thing is done, like I said, all we can just do is just speculate and educate ourselves. So whether it is the family members that did it, or maybe whether it's because they were educated, it is not for us to decide. It is for those people who know to write the petition to the appropriate place and the bodies to pick them up.
Okay, you can still join us on the phone lines 0704 400 1067, 0704 400 1067, or you call 0817 555 1067. That is also our WhatsApp number 0817 555 1067, or you call 0817 444 1067. We can still pick one more call before we go on the program this morning, before we go to the next segment, of course. So 0817 555 1067 or 0817 444 1067, or you drop a comment or a message for us on WhatsApp 0817 555 1067. We have a caller
for now. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mary.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Doida.
Good morning. Oh, we lost that call.
All right.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Okay, might just be time for us to proceed on the commercial break. We have WhatsApp comments, do we?
Oh no, it's Akoridi Camille, and he already dropped that.
Oh, okay, all right. So let's think.
Okay, let's see if we can sneak in this particular one. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I'm calling you back. It was network.
All right, make it 1 minute.
No, yes, I'm not actually contributing. I just want to make an this and one of the things my so I'm and then
Well, Olabode, we're sorry. Looks like the village people.
Well, the network is quite bad,
sorry.
Olabode.
Apologies
Maybe
for
when
that.
we get back from the commercial break, you can just, give us a call then. We are willing to pick your calls right after the commercial break. Stay tuned. There's still